that's why. But this month at Mother Yoga, we're focusing on mudras, and I'll probably use them a little bit more at the beginning and end of class. Um, but if you don't know what a mudra is, it is translated as seal. So whenever you see, I guess, Taylor, this is more for your information, but whenever you see people doing things with their hands, like this is chin or gyan mudra. This is like the very Instagrammable mudra that you see often. There are all sorts of things that you can do to create circuits of energy in your body. Um, so I'll be talking a little bit more about that at the beginning and end of class. Um, but for today, I wanted to work on a little bit of standing balances and also a little bit of heart opening too. So if there's anything you want to let me know before we start, as far as how your body's doing, anything I should know about, feel free to let me know. But I mostly know what's going on with you, Taylor. But Casey, if you want to let me know anything, that's also optional here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get my screen fully set up and get comfortable in your seat. And I do record this, so just so you know, you're not going to be recorded. It's on the speaker view. So yeah, we'll get started in a seat. You can sit cross-legged or on your block, knees forward in supported hero. And just start to let all of the surroundings, anything distracting you, sort of land in your attention. You can keep your eyes open for a moment. And just sort of notice where you're at in your space. And if it feels available to you, start to lower your gaze down to the ground, keeping your spine upright. And maybe you can close your eyes. And bring your attention to your breath. So just the natural in and out flow of breath. And as you watch your breath, maybe you can start to notice where it flows easy, where there's areas of tension in your body. And with your next few exhales, soften any tension that you feel in your eye sockets, your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. And you can continuously do that with the next few exhales. So maybe just gradually feeling a little more easeful in your seat. And eventually start to deepen your breath a little bit. So start to notice your diaphragm, that muscle that supports your lungs and lung function. And as you inhale, notice that expansion. Maybe you can start to draw the breath deeper into your lungs. Feel your belly soften outward and around. And as you exhale, feel a gentle hug through center. Again, whenever we're deepening the breath, this is a gradual process, so you don't have to take your biggest breath ever, but maybe just slowly sipping in more air with every inhale. And on your next inhale, we'll bring hands to heart center in Anjali Mudra. And this is a mudra that we use really often. If you've ever taken my classes, we open with this mudra. And this is our way of honoring the practice. It's also known as hands in Namaste or Namaskara. And this is our way of basically honoring the practice. So whatever you're coming to your mat with, maybe bring to mind what brought you to your practice today. Or if there's something that you're working through this week, some sort of mantra or word that comes to mind, you can bring that into your consciousness here. And we'll start with the sound of 3 ohms together. Feel free to join in or listen. Take a full inhale through the nose. Start to lower your hands down. Blink your eyes open and lift your gaze. And if you're seated cross-legged, go ahead and cross your legs the opposite direction. I'm going to come off of my block, so can't see how you're all sitting, but come off of your block and meet in cross-legged seat. And just have your hands resting on your knees, and we'll pull that invisible string at the crown of the head, nice tall spine. And as you exhale, draw chin to chest, and inhale, right ear to right shoulder. So I'll be mirroring you for practice, so if you see me moving one direction, it should be like a mirror. So move side to side with your breath. Exhale, chin to chest. Maybe you're moving to your left or your right. And we'll meet on the right side. So take your time to get there. Once your right ear is to right shoulder, we'll take a few breaths into that right or left side of the neck, technically. And you can look down as you exhale, and as you inhale, you can turn your gaze up to the sky. So move as slow as you need to. If there's an interesting spot that you find along the way and you want to pause there, feel free to do that. Maybe this is a chance for you to open and close your mouth, unhinge your jaw, get all those sticky feelings out. And as you exhale, draw chin to chest and left ear to left shoulder. Same thing here, we'll turn the gaze down and maybe inhale, look up. And if along the way there's a spot you want to pause, you can do that. If you liked continuously looking down and up, you can continue with that movement. And eventually draw chin to chest, lift your head up. And with your hands on your knees, we'll move through seated cat and cow with the hands tractioning the heart forward. And so as you inhale, heart draws forward. You can shrug your shoulders up, back, and down. And as you exhale, draw chin to chest, round the spine. So move in your range of motion. Maybe you're noticing any areas of tension. And you can add sensation by pressing your hands into your knees as you inhale. And as you exhale, maybe lean back, feel the space between your shoulder blades widen. So follow your pace of breath. And maybe throughout practice, this could be a nice time to layer on Ujjayi Pranayama if you want to add that slight constriction of the throat, creating a gentle, audible breath. Let's find 2 more rounds of breath here. A full inhale and a full exhale. And next inhale, we'll meet through center, neutral spine, and bring your fingertips to tent onto the ground. So your palms can be lifted, fingertips are touching the ground, and maybe use that to roll your shoulders back and down. Feel nice and tall. And we'll flip the palms forward. Inhale, reach your arms up. And as you exhale, we'll cactus the arms, draw your shoulder blades together. So inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. And last time. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. And you can let your hands rest on the ground again. We'll inhale, circle the arms out and up. And exhale, twist to your right. So left hand on the right knee, right hand somewhere behind you. and inhale, reach up through center. So we'll do this a few rounds. So you don't have to come into your biggest twist ever. Just notice where your body's at this morning with each twist that you do. So we'll inhale through center, exhale, twist. Move with your breath. And the next time you twist over to the right side, we'll stay there. And we can refine a little bit by pressing the right hand, or maybe your right hand is tented behind you. You can gently press your left hand on your right thigh. But anytime we add traction, again, find that edge of sensation without it being about trying to go to the most sensation, I guess. All right, inhale, reach the arms up, and exhale, twist to the left. Same thing here. Someone is pulling an invisible string at the crown of your head, and you're twisting from the mid belly. So your hips are staying anchored down. One more breath, and inhale, unwind through center, reach up, and bring your hands down by your sides. Let's meet in tabletop. So hands and knees. Feel free to add padding under your knees if you need it, if you're on a hard surface. And we'll start to move through cat and cow here. So inhale, belly drops, look forward. Exhale, round the spine, press into the shins and the hands. Mid-back puffs up to the sky. So follow your breath. If you feel called to, we'll start to add a bigger range of motion by walking the hands forward and extending the hips. And exhale, sit your hips toward your heels like you're going toward child's pose, but you don't have to go all the way there. If you feel called to a different kind of movement, maybe circling through the hips, this is a chance for you to just move a little bit more freely. And throughout practice today, I'll be cueing slow motion, that word. So transitions are something that we'll be focusing on today as well. So maybe as you move through each pose, rather than arriving anywhere, you can see what's happening in between. Eventually we'll meet in child's pose. So whatever it is that you're choosing to do, if it's side to side movement, finish out both sides. Eventually sit your hips to your heels, forehead rest down, and let your arms just soften. They can be heavy on the ground. And breathe into the back of your lungs. Take 2 more deep breaths into your back body. As you inhale, start to lift your forehead off of the ground and walk your hands over to the right. Sit that left hip back and down. And before you fold fully, you can actively reach that left hand forward to the upper right hand corner and then soften as you drop your forehead down. Breathe into that left side body for 3 rounds of breath. Release any tension in your shoulders, any effort of the reach. And as you inhale, start to lift your forehead up and walk your hands through center and over to the left side. Same thing here, that right hand can really reach for that upper left corner as your right hip sits back. And eventually soften as you let your forehead rest down. And breathe into that right side body, 3 more rounds of breath. And start to walk your hands through center. Lift back up to tabletop. And start to tuck the toes. Make your way to plank pose on or off the knees. So we're starting to warm up a little bit more. And once you're in plank pose, start to refine a little bit. Crown of the head reaches forward, soften your elbows. And as always, you can always lower onto forearms or knees if you need to. And we'll be here for 2 more rounds of breath. Feel your mid-back puff up to the sky. And exhale, lower knees down, sit your hips to your heels. Child's pose. 2 breaths here. And start to lift up to tabletop and lower your forearms down. And decide if you want to have your hands together or forearms parallel. And we'll make our way to forearm plank. So same thing here. Start to drag your elbows toward your feet toward your elbows, and press into your forearms to feel that lift of the back to the sky. And we'll be here for 2 more breaths. See if you can keep a smoothness to your breath, even amidst any shakes or heat building. And start to lower your knees down, and we'll lower onto the belly. So just slowly lower onto your belly and make your way to crocodile pose. So forehead rests down on your hands, and you can sway your hips side to side or just find stillness. On your next inhale, lift up onto your forearms for Sphinx pose. So lift onto your forearms. Forearms are parallel. Yeah, and start to draw your heart forward. If having your shoulders right over your elbows feels like too much today, you can also walk your elbows a little bit forward. But feel a sense of balance and ease here. So jaw is soft. Maybe have that sense of hugging your belly button to spine. And release your forehead down. So we'll add those things together. So I don't have an exact word for this, so if you want to look at the screen while I explain, that's totally all right. So I'm going to be in basically a forearm plank with my knees down, so somewhere between Sphinx and forearm plank. And on the inhale, I'll let my belly drop and be in Sphinx pose. As I exhale, I'll start to hug belly button to spine and lift the thighs off of the ground, press into the forearms, and lift the mid back or the space between the shoulder blades up, and inhale to release into Sphinx pose. So I don't know what they're called. They're kind of like Sphinx crunches, I guess. But it's sort of like we're moving through cat and cow, just with a little more core activity. So on your inhale, lower the belly, Sphinx pose. On your exhale, press into your forearms, lift your belly button up and in, and draw chin to chest. So we'll do 3 more of those. And exhale, lift your thighs off of the mat, chin to chest. And this is a nice time to move a little more slow motion as well. And after your last round, whenever that is, you can lower onto your belly. Forehead rests on your hands for 3 breaths. And just notice what sensations that brought up for you. And when you're ready, tabletop is where we'll meet. Press into your hands, lift yourself up, find tabletop. And from tabletop, we'll extend that right leg behind, but the foot stays on the ground. So tuck your right toes under. Maybe you rock forward and back. Feel a calf stretch. And eventually bring yourself back through center, shoulders over wrists. Hug your belly button up and in, and float your right leg off of the ground. So hips stay pointed to the mat. that right outer hip is rolling down. And take a breath here. Start to bend that right knee. So sole of the right foot points to the sky, and open your right knee out to the right. So dog on the fire hydrant and draw circles with your knees in space. So like you're going between those two shapes and reverse direction. And while you're circling, make sure your belly's not dropping. All right, start to bring your sole of the right foot to point back to the sky, so knee is bent. Take an inhale here, and as you exhale, we'll tap right knee to right elbow. And inhale, draw a half circle, and land your right knee to the left side of your mat. So like you're crossing your legs and heading to a side bend kind of shape. So you can look up at the screen if you need to, but we'll do that 2 more times. So tap the right elbow to right knee and cross it over to the left. Maybe you sit back, find that range of motion that feels comfortable. So see if you can do this in slow motion with control so that you are entirely supported the whole time. So the spaces in between are almost more important. And after your last time, we'll meet back in tabletop. So just bring that right knee back through center and flush it out with some cat and cow. And we'll move to the second side. So left leg extends long, tuck the toes. Maybe you rock forward and back. Hug belly button to spine and float that left leg off of the ground. Hips stay pointing to your mat. Bend that left knee and inhale, open left shin over to the left side and draw circles with your knee in space. So maybe flowing between those two shapes, one direction, and then reverse that. Move the opposite way. Eventually, sole of the left foot points to the sky, hips are square. Take an inhale and exhale, tap left knee to left elbow and cross left knee over toward the right side of the mat. And you can sit your hips as far back as feels interesting. So 2 more times, tap the elbow, exhale, cross it over, sit the hips back. And depending on how many rounds you did the last time, we'll finish out this last one. So about 3 or 4, and set the left knee down. Move through your cat and cow, maybe other intuitive movement. Eventually we'll tuck the toes in cow pose and lift the hips to downward facing dog. So your knees can be super bent. You could bend one knee and the other, find movement or stillness. Press through the knuckles of your hands. Tailbone lifts to the sky. And eventually look to the hands, bend the knees, and take a walk forward to fold. In your forward fold, you can grab opposite elbows, maybe sway side to side. But whatever it is you do, let your head be like a bobblehead in space so your neck isn't doing any work here. Soften your jaw. Breathe into the back of your legs for 2 more breaths. Maybe feel your tailbone lift up. And eventually bend your knees a lot and take a slow roll up. So you can support yourself however you need to. Head will come up last. And once you get up to the top, you can roll your shoulders up to the ears, back and down, Tadasana. Notice what it feels like to be standing. Grow nice and tall. Press through the soles of your feet. And as you inhale, circle the arms out and up, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. And this time we'll do a super slow motion fold forward. Maybe you reach your hands forward, palms facing out. If your low back is tender, we'll reach the arms out like airplane arms. And let's find a pause once the torso is parallel to the ground, and just notice what that feels like here. What core muscles need to be engaged to make this happen? And exhale, fold all the way. Take an inhale, step your right foot back, runner's lunge, and drop the right knee down. Scissor your thighs together and sweep your arms forward. Again, slow motion, rise your way up to Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. So we did a little bit of that core earlier just to take a mental picture of things that we'll be doing throughout practice with the core. So hug your pubic bone to belly button, one more breath. Exhale, plant your hands down and step back, downward facing dog. Lift the hips, shift the shoulders over the wrists, plank pose. Lower down knees, chest, chin. Inhale, low cobra. So hands right by the ribs, lift the heart, and exhale, lower. 2 more times. Inhale, lift the heart, tops of the feet are grounded, and exhale, lower. And last time. Inhale, feel that lift of the heart, gaze down at your mat, and exhale, lower. Lift up, plank pose to downward facing dog. Press your knuckles into the mat, lift the tailbone up to the sky, drag that right heel up and back, three-legged dog. As you exhale, draw knee to nose and hover shoulders over wrists. So we'll do that 2 times. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose. And the 3rd time you draw knee to nose, use that hug of the right thigh to chest to step the right foot forward. Runner's lunge, drop the left knee down. Press your left shin into the ground, scissor your thighs together, reach your arms forward, and slowly rise your way up. High or low crescent lunge, Anjaneyasana. Plug your shoulders into the sockets, hug pubic bone to belly button, and exhale, plant your hands down, step forward, and fold. Fingertips to shins, lift up halfway. Use that same core engagement we did when we were floating the arms out to the side. And exhale, fold. Press into your feet, rise your way up, and bring hands through heart center and down. Second side, we'll move 1 breath per movement, so a little bit faster. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, hinge at the hips. Halfway lift on your inhale, fingertips to shins. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot back, runner's lunge. Drop the left knee down. Scissor the thighs together. Reach your arms forward and up. Anjaneyasana. As you exhale, plant the left hand down. Right arm reaches up. Find a twist. And exhale, right hand down. Step back, downward facing dog. And shift forward, plank pose. Knees, chest, chin. And move into cobra to downward facing dog. Start to feel heavy through your right leg as your left leg drags up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Exhale, knee to nose, shoulders over wrists. 2 more times. And that 3rd time you draw knee to nose, step that left foot forward. Runner's lunge. Drop the right knee down. Sweep your arms forward and up. Use your core to lift yourself up. And exhale, plant your right hand down, left arm lifts up. And I didn't say this earlier, but if you have a block or lift you want to use under your hands at any point, go ahead and do that. Set your left hand down, step forward, and fold. Halfway lift as you inhale, core is strong. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet, circle the arms out and up, reach up, and bring hands through heart center and down by your sides. Bring your hands to heart center again. Sit your hips back for chair pose. So squeeze your thighs together. You can have your feet hip distance or together. And option to reach the arms forward. Take 1 more breath here. And exhale, fold. Step the right foot back, then the left foot back, plank pose. And lower down, knees, chest, chin. If you want to move through chaturanga, lowering all the way down, you can inhale to low cobra or upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Start to lift that right leg up to the sky, three-legged dog, and exhale, step it forward, runner's lunge. Start to plant that left foot down so that we're in warrior one legs. Scissor your thighs together, and option to reach your arms out like an airplane starts to have that sense of hovering the core off of the right thigh, and we'll press into the legs to lift all the way up for warrior one. So we're scissoring the thighs together and reach the arms behind you, grab for opposite elbow or opposite hand. So whatever option works for you, we're just feeling space through the collarbones and hugging the core in through the midline. So you might think about that Sphinx crunch we did earlier. You can add that sensation here. Reach your arms up to the sky and exhale, plant your hands down, runner's lunge. Plant your left hand down, lift your right arm up, find a twist, and exhale, plant your right hand down, step forward and fold. Halfway lift to inhale, find length. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees a lot and airplane your arms back like you're a diver, sort of, and sweep your arms forward for chair pose. So if you need to bring hands to heart center, if that transition isn't working for you, you're welcome to do that. Press into your feet, reach the arms up, stand up, Tadasana, hands draw through heart center and down. Inhale, reach your arms up, and exhale, hinge forward and fold. Step your left foot back, then your right foot back, plank pose, and find your flow your way. If you like to do chaturanga, shifting forward, lowering into that tricep push-up, and inhale to upward facing dog, you're welcome to do that. Downward facing dog on the exhale. Lift that left leg to the sky, three-legged dog. And exhale, step it forward, runner's lunge. Set your right foot down for warrior one. Scissor your thighs together, reach your arms out like an airplane, and reach yourself all the way up using your core strength, leg strength, and settle in. Draw that left hip crease back and reach your arms behind you. This time, the weird elbow or thumb on top. Bring that Sphinx crunch into the picture. I wish it wasn't called a crunch, but you get what I'm saying. And release the arms, sweep them all the way up. Exhale, plant your hands down. Plant your right hand down and sweep that left arm to the sky. So right heel is lifted, find your twist. Exhale, plant the left hand down, step forward and fold. Halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees a lot, airplane your arms back. Sweep your arms forward and up, chair pose. And straighten the legs, reach your arms up, hands draw to heart center and down by the sides. Take a breath and just notice the flow of energy in your body, the prana that's been created through our movement. And bring hands to heart center again, kind of like you're gathering all of that through center. Set your gaze at an unmoving point, and we'll start to shift the weight of the feet to the left and draw that right knee to chest. So you could just float the right toes off of the ground and notice what it feels like to be standing on one leg. Step the right foot back for warrior one and reach your arms up as you inhale. Hug your ribs towards the hip points. Take a breath. And exhale, open up, warrior two. So warrior two, gaze over your left middle finger. Keep drawing that left quad over to the left. And we'll flip the palms to the sky. Start to straighten that left leg as you reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, flip your palms facing down, bend the left knee, warrior two. So we'll do that 2 more times. Press through your left heel and lift your arms up. And exhale, bend that left knee, warrior two. So last time, as you inhale, imagine you're zipping your legs together, but they stay separate as you inhale and exhale, warrior two. In warrior two, we'll start to straighten that right leg, or that left leg, sorry. Reach the left fingertips forward and drop the left hand down, right arm reaches up. Triangle pose, Trikonasana. And think more of keeping the length in your spine versus coming down super low. Yeah, 1 more breath. Press through your feet. Use your legs, use your core, lift yourself up, warrior two. And we're shifting into a high crescent lunge. So you'll just peel your right heel off of the ground and turn your hips to face forward. Inhale, arms reach up. And as you exhale, plant your hands down, either onto the ground. If you have those blocks handy near the top of your mat, we'll put our hands on the blocks. And start to pour weight into that left leg so you can drag that right heel up for supported warrior three. Yeah, so we're hugging the belly button up and in. Actively press through that left leg as if you were just pressing into that wall in front of you. And notice if that press of the leg helps you be light on your hands. Yeah. And with control, we'll step that right foot forward and fold. You can move your blocks out of the way. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press into your feet, rise up, and bring hands to heart center. Second side, shift your weight to that right leg. Lift the left knee to chest. Single leg Tadasana. Exhale, slow motion, step that left foot back. Warrior one, reach your arms up. And bring your hands, keep your arms up. And exhale, warrior two. All right, gaze over that right middle finger. Yeah, keep moving that right knee to the right. Nice adjustment. Flip your palms to the sky. And straighten the right leg, reach the arms up. 2 more times. Press the air down as you exhale. Inhale, lift up. And after that third round, whenever that is, meet in warrior two. Start to press through your right heel to straighten that right leg. Reach the right fingertips forward and drop the right hand down, left arm up. So we're rolling the right ribs under the left. So we're adding kind of a twist to the torso. See the quality of your breath here. Could it still be smooth? And press through your feet. Build your core strength and make your way to warrior two. We'll pivot the hips forward, so like you're just peeling your left heel off of the ground. If you need to take a little step in, that's totally fine, but we're in high crescent lunge. Exhale, plant your hands onto your blocks and pour the weight into the right foot, so it can be really gradual. And drag your left heel up. So whatever you're doing, the outer part of your left leg is rolling down. Left toes point down. And see what actively pressing through that right leg does for your entire core engagement. Could you be a little bit lighter on your hands? Yeah. And as you exhale, step the left foot down to meet the right and fold forward. Halfway lift to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold, press into the feet, circle the arms out and up, reach up, and bring hands down by your sides. Start to widen your feet out a little bit wide, as wide as your mat, and bring your hands to heart center. And exhale, we'll sit down into Malasana. So if you have your blocks or something to sit on, that can be really nice just to add a little support for this. Yeah. And whatever you're doing, we'll lift the heart to the thumbs. And just take a few breaths here. And eventually, we'll start to lower the hands down. And however you need to transition out, if you can make your way to a forward fold from here, lifting the hips, feel free to do that. If you need to kind of move things out of the way and stand up first and then fold forward, go ahead and do that. But fold forward. Make sure that you walk your feet in, and we'll step back to downward facing dog. If you want to add in a flow here, you can move through plank, chaturanga, or cobra, and downward facing dog. Take a couple of breaths and start to lower your knees down. Sit your hips to your heels. Let your forehead rest down. And breathe into your back body. Eventually start to lift yourself up to tabletop and sit on one hip, swing your legs around, and move your props over to the side. So maybe so that they're in arm's reach, but not quite next to your mat. And before we head down, bring your hands behind your knees and find the length in the spine. So crown of the head is moving toward the sky. Start to hug your core in through center, knit the ribs in, and maybe you lean back a little bit, keeping that length, like we're moving in one unit and into boat pose, Navasana. So hands can be on your legs the whole time. Shins can come parallel to the ground. An option to float the arms away from the legs. Soften your jaw. Keep the breath flowing. 2 more breaths. And eventually lower your feet down. Reach your arms forward and take a slow roll down to your back. So you can appreciate this transition a little bit as you gently place your back on the ground. And once you get there, hug knees to chest. Maybe you give yourself a rock side to side. Start to lower your feet down. And if you have a block, grab that and set it between the thighs. Taylor, I don't think your makeshift block will work for this, but if you have a block, set it between the thighs. And we'll squeeze either the air between your thighs or your block. So whatever it is, but your thighs won't come together. So your thighs won't touch, hands right by your sides. Squeeze your block and lift your hips up for bridge pose. And we'll exhale, lower down. So do that 2 more times with your breath. So we'll squeeze, inhale, lift, and exhale, lower down. Last time in movement, and exhale, lower down. The next time we inhale, lift, we'll stay. If you have that block, squeeze at the top. Keep hugging that tailbone slightly down, so as if your tailbone could scoop toward your knees. Head and shoulders are heavy. 3 more breaths. If you have a different shoulder variation, maybe walking the shoulders under, you can find a bind or just grab the edges of your mat. And eventually, once you're done with your 3 breaths, we'll slowly lower down, remove your block, heel toe the feet out wide, and windshield wiper your shins side to side. One more round on each side. And eventually bring your knees through center, heel toe your feet in, and if you have your strap, go ahead and grab it now. And we'll bring right knee to chest and sling that strap around the right foot. So one side of the strap will be in each hand. The strap's on the ball of the foot or slightly lower. And you can press that sole of the foot like it's pressing to the ceiling. Option to straighten out that left leg if that feels available to you. And just take a few breaths wherever you're feeling this sensation. If you want to add sensation, give that strap a gentle pull like you're pulling your foot toward the top of your mat. But only go so far as you can keep your hips fully anchored. So as if your hips are just glued down. We'll take one more breath here. Release a bit of that effort and switch the strap into your left hand. Right thumb will come to your right hip crease. Take an inhale here and exhale, cross the right foot over to the left about 6 inches or so. So we're not coming into a twist, but notice what it feels like to press that right sole of the foot to that upper left corner as your right hip stays down. So maybe the outer right leg or IT band is feeling a little bit of length. And we'll inhale through center and switch your strap into your right hand. Place your left hand on your left hip and start to open your strap over to the right side. So take your time to find that place that you can keep both hips glued on the mat. And you're supporting your right leg with the strap in your hand. So find that place that feels interesting, and then we'll breathe here. You can keep flexing through both of your feet. And take an inhale. Bring that right leg through center. This time we'll add a twist. So bring the strap into the left hand. Plant the right hand down on the right side of your body. So right arm is out at a T, and start to draw the left leg across over to the left side. And if this starts to feel any weirdness or too intense, you can take your leg out of the strap and just bend that right knee into supine twist. Find 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, you can start to use your core, bring that right leg through center, release the strap, and set that right leg down. If you have both legs straight, we'll just be in a really quick Shavasana and just notice the differences between the left and right side. And eventually start to bend both knees and hug that left knee to chest. We'll do the same thing on this side. So strap up that left leg, extend the left foot to the sky. You can feel a little bit of resistance by pulling on the strap, pressing your foot into the strap. Again, know that your knee can be bent here, a little micro bend in that left knee. And option to extend that right leg long if you haven't already. And if you're really adding resistance, release a bit of that resistance so we can switch the strap into the right hand. Left thumb to left hip crease. You can press that space down to remind you to keep the left hip down as you draw the left leg across to the right, maybe 6 inches or so. I keep pressing your left hip down as you reach your left heel to that upper right corner. Shoulders stay relaxed, head is heavy. One more breath. And inhale the strap into your left hand to your right hip. Press your right hip down as you open that left leg over to the left. And apologies if you can hear any joints cracking on my side of things. But support yourself here as much as you need. Right hip is heavy. 3 breaths. And use control as you inhale to make your way back through center. You can bring your strap through center and switch it into the right hand and make your way to your twist. So right foot over to the left foot over to the right. Left arm can extend out at a T. And again, if you need to take your leg out of the strap on this side, that's totally fine. And start to make your way through center. Use your core to put that left hip back down and release your strap. And you might just take a moment, both legs extended long in Shavasana. And we'll have one more thing you can do before we end practice. So if you want to slowly rebend your knees, hug knees to chest, maybe find happy baby, you can do that here. But whatever you do, we want to add in something symmetrical before we make our way to Shavasana. If you have any props you want to add in for that, you're welcome to do so. And I will show a couple of options for ways you can end practice. So if you have 2 blocks, I'm not actually sure if both of you do, you can find supported Shavasana. And Taylor, I know you don't have 2 blocks, so if you want to just bring feet together, knees apart, and have your palms facing the ceiling, you can do that. If you like this with the 2 blocks, you can head here now, supported fish. And if you're really just feeling like you want something a little less fuss, you're welcome to just lay your body out in Shavasana without props. So it's up to you. And start to settle into this feeling of stillness in the body. Notice where your breath flows easily. And see if every exhale could make you feel a little bit heavier and supported by the ground. Release any effort in your face, your neck, your shoulders, your hips, your legs. And as you feel the sense of heaviness, notice that sense of lightness with the breath, maybe even the spaces between your breath. Feel free to stay as you are for as long as you would like to. When you feel ready to start moving, start with a deep breath and allow that deep breath to invite small movements to your arms, legs, fingers, toes. Eventually, those movements could start to grow larger, bringing you onto one side, rolling you off of any props you have. And you can just take a moment to transition before coming up to your seat. Just a few breaths on your side first. And once you lift yourself up, maybe keep your gaze soft to the ground for a few moments. And start to bring your hands into Dhyana Mudra. So I'll come up close to show you. Your left hand will be somewhere in your lap, and then your right hand will rest on top, thumbs touching. And in your seat, start to close your eyes or just gaze downward. Let your shoulders soften and just take a few breaths into any sensations you're feeling in your body, any shifts. And start to bring your attention to any intention you may have had at the beginning of practice. And we'll start to bring our hands into Anjali Mudra. Take a breath here, and we'll send out that intention with a single Om together. Take a full inhale. Bowing our heads to our hearts, we honor the practice we've done today. May our practice bear fruit, and may that fruit benefit all beings everywhere. I will end with thank you. Thank you for joining in, new faces and old faces. Feel free to let me know if you have questions about anything. I would appreciate that. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your week, great rest of your day, and yeah, take care.